Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, and in this video we're going to be comparing the Oukitel C13 Pro to the Umidigi A3 Pro. So let's get started. So I know there's a lot of interest in this video because a lot of people are new to the Oukitel brand, and there's also a lot of people here that are fans of Umidigi. So when I saw that the Oukitel C13 Pro was coming out, I really wanted to get it, and I think I'm one of the few people in the United States that even has this device because I did import it from China. I bought it on AliExpress, and it took a few weeks to get here, but it did eventually show up. Now, there's a lot of similarities and differences with these two devices. As far as price goes, the Oukitel C13 Pro is available for $74.99, and the Umidigi A3 Pro is available for $99.99. So essentially, the A3 Pro is about $25 more expensive than the Oukitel C13 Pro. In my opinion, 25 bucks isn't a huge difference in pricing here, but maybe it is to you. Let me know down in the comment section below, but you will be saving some money if you decide to go with the Oukitel C13 Pro. Now, both of these devices are available factory unlocked and they're GSM compatible, so any GSM carrier will work fine with these phones. So in the United States, you're going to be able to use these with AT&T and T-Mobile, as well as Cricket and Metro by T-Mobile. And if you're located internationally, then your local GSM carrier should work fine with these phones. Now, if you want to get these on Amazon, I will be leaving a link in the video description. As far as I'm aware, the Oukitel C13 Pro is not currently available on Amazon. They might put it up there in the future. I know Oukitel does have some devices on Amazon, but I know you can definitely buy both of these devices on AliExpress, as that's where I bought the Oukitel C13 Pro. Now, the C13 Pro features a 6.1-inch display coming in at 480p, and the A3 Pro features a 5.7-inch display coming in at 720p. So you're getting a much higher quality and higher resolution display with the A3 Pro. You can see a close-up here with the A3 Pro, just how clear everything looks. It really has a great looking display. Sometimes I feel like it could even pass for a 1080p display if you wanted it to, just because of how clear it looks. Now, unfortunately, the same cannot be said for the C13 Pro from Oukitel. It does look decent, it has good colors, but there's no way to really get around it being 480p. Things certainly look pixelated. They don't look nearly as crisp and clear as they do on the A3 Pro. So there's certainly a dramatic downgrade as far as the display goes with the Oukitel C13 Pro. But it is one of the compromises, I suppose, that they had to make when giving this device a $75 price tag. Now, the fact that the C13 Pro features a larger display certainly is evident here. So you can see, holding these two up next to each other, the C13 Pro definitely is taller than the A3 Pro. Both devices have a pretty large lip here down at the bottom, another compromise that comes with them being cheaper budget phones. And on the top, they both have pretty thick and large notches. I do not think that's necessarily a bad thing that these have large notches. They kind of remind me of the notch on the iPhone XS, which is a very expensive and premium handset. So it really comes down to your personal preference about the notch. The Oukitel C13 Pro features a 5-megapixel front-facing camera, and the Umidigi A3 Pro features an 8-megapixel front-facing camera. The Oukitel features 16 gigabytes of internal storage, and the Umidigi features 32 gigabytes of internal storage. So you're getting twice the amount of internal storage with the Umidigi A3 Pro. Neither of these two devices feature wireless charging, but they both feature fingerprint sensors on the back here, and I'd like to give you a demonstration of that right now. So let's first do the fingerprint sensor on the Oukitel C13 Pro. I'm going to turn this off, put my finger on the back here, and as you can see, pretty quickly I'm able to unlock the phone. Let's now try this out on the Umidigi A3 Pro. I'm going to turn that off. And there we go, just like that, I'm able to turn the display on and unlock the device by using the fingerprint sensor. So that's really cool. It works well in both of these. I think it's a little bit slower though than some other devices that are more premium and expensive, but still, the fingerprint sensor does work on these phones. So on the back side, we have dual cameras with both devices. On the Oukitel C13 Pro, we have a 13 megapixel main camera and a 0.3 megapixel secondary camera. And on the Umidigi A3 Pro, we have a 12 megapixel main camera and a 5 megapixel secondary camera. So I can do a dedicated video comparing the cameras on these two devices if you want me to, but I'll tell you what, I think overall the cameras are better on the A3 Pro, and that really is the truth. The Oukitel C13 Pro has 2 gigabytes of RAM and the Umidigi A3 Pro has 3 gigabytes of RAM. Now, one of the biggest things that these two devices do have in common is that they both have the MediaTek MT6739 processor. But from what I've noticed, I don't know if this is just because of optimization or the fact that the Umidigi A3 Pro has 1 extra gigabyte of RAM, but the A3 Pro runs much better than the C13 Pro. So when using the A3 Pro, I was just very impressed with the speeds here and how fast everything performed on the device. In my opinion, the MT6739 processor from MediaTek really isn't that great of a processor, but it seems like with the Umidigi A3 Pro, they've optimized this so well that it really does run very smoothly despite the lower end processor. Now, I didn't really have the same experience though with the Oukitel C13 Pro. I thought this was a lot slower, just doing everything from web browsing to pulling up videos to even booting up the phone. And I just wasn't really that impressed with the performance of this device. It's hard to believe that having 1 less gigabyte of RAM can really create that big of a difference between these two phones, especially considering that they both have the same processor, but it's either that or it's because they have better software optimization on the Umidigi A3 Pro. But I'll show you in a second when I do a head-to-head speed test here, but the A3 Pro is just a lot faster. And what's interesting too is that the Oukitel C13 Pro runs Android 9 Pie and the Umidigi A3 Pro runs Android 8.1 Oreo. Now here's an example of the display quality head to head here. You can see the pixelation on the P here on the Oukitel C13 Pro. And that's pretty much a common trend throughout everything on the phone because of its low resolution display. Whereas things are nice and crisp and sharp looking on the Umidigi A3 Pro. Now the C13 Pro has a 3000 mAh internal battery and the A3 Pro has a 3300 mAh internal battery. So we're getting about the same battery capacity, and technically on paper you should get better battery life though with the C13 Pro because it does have a lower resolution display and less RAM. Because of that, it's going to make the device more power efficient, so the battery should last quite a bit longer than the A3 Pro. Okay, now that we've gone over the specifications of these two devices, let's now compare the hardware. So we already went over the displays here, so we get that 6.1 inch display coming in at 480p with the Oukitel C13 Pro, and with the Umidigi A3 Pro we get a 5.7 inch display coming in at 720p. Then up front here we have a 5 megapixel camera with the Oukitel C13 Pro, and with the Umidigi A3 Pro we have an 8 megapixel front facing camera. Both devices have a notch, both devices have a pretty big lip on the bottom here. Now I'll tell you what, one thing that shines for both of these phones though is the build quality. They both have a really nice metal band running around the sides here. What's interesting is that on the Oukitel C13 Pro, this metal band here pretty much looks identical to the color that's on my rose gold iPhone XS Max. We also have a metal band here on the Umidigi A3 Pro, so both devices do feel very nice in the hand. They feel nice and heavy and premium. They certainly do not feel cheap. On both phones on the left side here, we have the slot for the micro SD card and SIM card. On the right side, we have another similar setup here with the volume rockers up top and the power button down below. On the top of the Oukitel C13 Pro, we have a 3.5mm headphone jack, and on the Umidigi A3 Pro, we have nothing. And on the bottom of the Oukitel C13 Pro, we have the speaker and the microphone, and we have a micro USB port. And on the Umidigi A3 Pro, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, microphone, micro USB port, and speaker. The Oukitel C13 Pro definitely looks very similar to the rose gold iPhone XS with the colors here and really just everything, including the form factor. Of course, there's a lot of big differences too. And one difference is that this device does have a fingerprint sensor on the back, but you can definitely tell that the Oukitel C13 Pro has a design that is inspired by the iPhone. Now we also have a similar design here on the back of the Umidigi A3 Pro, so both devices actually look fairly similar here on the back. They both have this kind of like glazed back material. It almost looks like glass, but I'm pretty sure it's not. We have the dual cameras here in the back with 13 and 0.03 megapixels on the Oukitel C13 Pro. We have a flash and the fingerprint sensor. And then on the Umidigi A3 Pro, we have a 12 and 5 megapixel camera module. We have the flash and we have the fingerprint sensor. Both devices do look pretty similar here, which is funny. Okay, let's now do a speed test comparison with these two devices. So we're going to start by pulling up the camera apps here. So 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like they're about the same pulling up the cameras. maybe a little bit quicker on the Umidigi. We're going to now go to Google Chrome. 1, 2, 3, go. And the Umidigi A3 Pro is the first one to pull up content of these two devices. Let's go to yahoo.com. 1, 2, 3, go. Looks like in this test here, the Oukitel C13 Pro is first to pull up Yahoo. Let's go to engadget.com. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like the Umidigi A3 Pro is first to pull up content here, with the Oukitel C13 Pro lagging behind. And they're both Let's now go to this article. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, so this concludes. And also let me know if you're new. There's certainly a lot of great things about it, and I'm sure I'll grow to appreciate